Chad is screaming, "You promised us someone would wear a crown on the stream."
Go on, Stacey,
and
put it on.
I feel bullied into it, so.
Well, I ran into the issue with the crown where it kept falling off because of the headphones.
Here I am caving to peer pressure.
Hello, welcome to another stream, CK3, one day after launch, and we are now live with our weekly streams. I'm Troy Pruitt, the community manager. Good to see everybody again. Hope you enjoyed yesterday's events and festivities. Hope you enjoyed our stream. With me is the faithful Matthew.
Yep, hi. I'm a programmer on CK3.
Yeah. We will be playing through some games today. We will also be having the wonderful Stacy joining us here in a moment. I'm going to get up. I'm going to head to the booth, make sure everything's running smoothly. But don't worry, I'll still be around for you guys. So keep an eye out for me. I'll interject if, well...
When you come up with some bad jokes.
I'll interject when bad puns are needed or, terrible commentary. In the meantime, I'm going to hand it over to Stacy and hope you guys enjoy. Matthew.
Ooh. Thank you very much. Come on, Stacey, we have a crown right here ready for you. For this this series, we're going to be playing in 867. We're going to be playing as Rurik Rudikid, the Duke of Novgorod.
Bringing all of the joys of the Viking lifestyle to mainland Europe.
Exactly. And we're gonna keep the normal game rules, but we're gonna turn on Iron Man, see if we can get some achievements out of this.
Because we're Iron Men.
Because we are Iron Men.
Iron
that is
Men
true.
and Iron Woman.
So, we can first of all just take care of the delightful alerts that we have that we should probably solve.
The classics.
So, pick some lifestyle focuses.
Lifestyle, spouse.
Let's see. What
starting
have we got
problems.
so far? So, starting up, we've got some perks already unlocking the gallant lifestyle tree, which is pretty good. Makes our knights a lot better, and also makes it a lot easier to do more courtly love, romance and eloping, and making people a bit more likely to accept your lovely offers of marriage, which are going to be useful for our very, very single and lonely son.
Single and lonely.
Specifically single and lonely, So I'm going to...
States you would know nothing about.
Take some martial... No, I can't empathize with that at all.
Cannot empathize. No, but it's very exciting, and we're going to set out some goals, which if you've ever seen us stream before, lower your expectations.
Yeah, whether those goals will be met or not is a very different situation.
But we're hoping you guys will cheer for us, encourage us, give us, your tips and tricks. So we're going to try to unite Russia.
Try and unite Russia. So first of all, because we are this starting area, we are actually not Russian ourselves. We are Norse pagans.
Viking.
We are Viking
Russia.
Russians. So what I'm going to do first of all is, our son seems to have lost his ways a little bit, and is he's believing in these Slavic faiths, and personally I can't get behind that. So I'm gonna ask him to convert, and because he likes us very much, he's going to do what we damn well tell him.
We must show him the ways of the old gods.
Yes, he will learn what he should do, and then we can try and get him a wife. Which is going to be useful so we can also get some alliances. Because as much as we would like to kill everybody here, it's going to be a little easier with some help.
We can't kill everybody here.
I mean, we can, but there's different ways of taking over, we can diplomatically take it over. Allies first, and Minsk is a pretty high, ally for that, and we also get some good claims that can be passed down as well. So let's see.
Matt never lets me murder everyone.
You can murder people later, but let's go. Which of the two people do you think? Should we go for? We should have played in England because then I could actually say some of the names. Dobrovsla?
Dobroslava.
That one, or Predeslava?
It's a lot of Slavas.
A lot of Slavas.
A lot of options.
Which one do you think? Which one strikes your fancy?
Let me see the stats here. So what's our lowest stats? Where are we trying to balance ourselves out?
We are pretty decent. We're pretty bad at learning and intrigue.
We're pretty stacked.
Our son is pretty similar, not great at diplomacy and stewardship.
Sorry, can you go back to us? What was
Absolutely.
our Diplo?
19.
We're good on that.
Yes.
I would say intrigue. If we can get a wife with some...
Okay, well, this one looks like she's got the
In
best
many
intrigue.
cultures, you can also make your wife your spy master.
Yes.
So I think that's...
And our son is quick, so we have a chance of getting some inherited traits from this little marriage, which is good. And then, we're above our domain limit for now. I understand how the game works, so I'm going to skip that lesson. In fact, I think I can.
Matt, let me tell you about domain limits.
I can turn
If you go over
those.
them,
There we go.
it hurts your taxes.
I can turn off the reactive advice because after working on this project for 2 years, I hope I can play this game.
Yeah, but I can also act as your counsel.
Exactly.
And I
so
can tell you fun facts.
we can start unpausing then. I'm going to move my glass of water out of the way so I can see what speed we're on. Perfect.
So
yeah.
I think we definitely want to. There's a lot of little bits and pieces for the taking around us. And I would say, given our super stacked marshal, we want to expand pretty aggressively out of the gates.
Yes, I absolutely agree. There's plenty of little one county.
Is there anyone we can invite
around
to just
us.
become our vassal?
I mean, I don't think there's anybody nearby that's super on board with becoming our vassal. We can, right off the bat, we have enough money on our starting to create the Kingdom of Novgorod, which so we can
rad.
get up and be a king right from the get-go, which also gives us some de jure claims. But as a Viking, we don't really care about de jure that much.
No.
We have this thing called swords, and
Chad is screaming, "You promised us someone would wear a crown on the stream."
come on, Stacey,
and
put it on.
I feel bullied into it, so.
Well, I ran into the issue with the crown where it kept falling off because of the headphones.
Here I am caving to peer pressure.
Here you go. We are now a mighty king, which is going to be good as well because that will increase like how much we get from our prestige gain because we have held kingdoms, which is always nice.
Yes.
And being more prestigious is very useful.
Extremely useful when we want to do something like form Russia, because it's going to cost a lot of prestige to, create all the de jure holdings.
Yes. And what I'm going to do right off the bat as well is I'm going to set up some converting some faiths because it's going to take a while, but I would prefer because if we look at our capital, for instance, over here, the popular opinion, the people aren't our biggest fan because we are both a foreign culture group and a different faith.
Make them Vikings.
And they're also Russian instead of any of our religions. So it's a little difficult. And we have the downside of by being another pagan faith, we aren't very good at converting. Because that's not really our focus. So it's going to take a while. But right now, I don't need too much piety increase, and I'd rather be able to dodge out of the revolts that are going to come our way. So I'm going to set promoting culture, which is going to be a lot quicker at least, and also converting some religion.
Get her converting.
And
Matt, if you were trying to convert a county to Viking paganism, how would you go about it?
Personally, probably with a lot of tears, because they don't strike me as being the most, receptive of my offers.
You're just gonna cry and be like, please.
Cry at them and annoy them until they give
Viking.
in. Like, please love me. Do what I ask.
Really convincing.
Exactly. We can also do a pretty nice thing because we are Norse. We have access to some special succession types for our primary title. So instead of suffering just through partition, we can actually give this an elective option. So we can think on the matter.
But I mean, elective must be better than partition because at least it's one person who.
Especially for the primary title, at least.
Yeah, gets
so
everything.
we can get the Scandinavian elective, historically called the Thing elective, which I mentioned on the stream yesterday that we originally didn't have the Scandinavian elective text there to help you out, so it's just called Thing. And we had a bunch of bug reports being like, what thing? Is this some missing text? Or no, this is historical, we promise. This is actually a thing.
We promise it's real.
So
that's the motto of CK3.
Yeah, we promise it's real.
real.
And then, of course, we're going to vote for our lovely Helgi the Seer.
Cast that votes.
So, yes, I can keep
But someone on chat was
down.
actually asking, how do I survive succession before Primogenitor? And I think it's a good question because Primogenitor is a little tougher to get, I think,
Yes,
in CK3.
so Primogenitor was always a little too easy to get in CK2. So now it requires a much later innovation. I think it's even in the late medieval Primogeniture. Then you can enact that. But there are different types of partition succession. So you can have a look at our. Oh my god, that's so disconcerting. Wait, can we like?
Oh no!
Pick his nose.
No.
There we go.
There's
No.
It's a very tiny crown on him.
There we go. Perfect, guys. There we
Okay,
go.
yeah, I think this actually works perfectly.
I think we've figured out the perfect, aspect ratio and camera angle for
Yes.
the stream.
Yeah,
So
I think this is perfect.
For managing that succession, there are different types of partition. Confederate partition is what we start with because we're just a tribe, and it means that our titles will be divided equally between our kids. but also new titles will be created for those heirs. Sort of similar to the way in CK2 there was elective Gavelkind, which would, also, if you held the territory of, say I use England as an example.
Which was also terrible. Elective
Yes.
Gavelkind was
If
terrible.
I held all the land of Scotland and England, but I only had the England title, what Confederate partition would do is the heir that gets most of the stuff in Scotland will have the Scotland kingdom title created for them, so that they're not just a vassal of you, they're also, splintered off even when they wouldn't normally be.
Nobody wants that.
So if you move up to just the regular partition, then that doesn't happen. It's just the regular splits. And then once you have the Heraldry innovation, you can get high partition. And what that means is that the predominantly, the larger share will go directly to your primary heir instead of being split as much. And then with managing it after you've died, a good way is just, depending on your build, murder for how that character's doing. If you raise an intrigue character, you can kill to get it back. But also, it's not the end of the world if your dynasty has it, because as long as they don't, get too upset with you, they shouldn't be awful.
Yeah, with regular partition, I've also been doing a lot of course, you want to have one highest title. That helps.
So you're saying that this could no way lead to anything bad with
No.
your kids trying to get titles.
No, that would never happen.
Family is friends, but in case family isn't friends,
Yes, in case they're not.
it helps to encourage them to take the vows, send them as leaders on wonderful crusades.
Yeah, so you're not actionless, especially if you are the dynasty head. So if we look at the Ruakid dynasty, I'm both the dynasty head and the house head. And what that means is, for example, with my heir, I do have the ability to disinherit him at the cost of renown. It's not an action you want to take always, because renown is a very precious resource that is slow to grow, because it grows based off of how many living members you have, but also how many living members you have as rulers. So, if I remember, it's specifically also rulers not in your realm. So what you want to do is, if you expand far and wide, if one of my, for example, the Carlings is a classic example. Each of these Carlings will increase the dynasty prestige, the renown that they're going to get, because they each are a king in their own right.
Which I love, because I'm a dynasty builder.
Yes, and then when you have that dynasty prestige with the renown, you can get the dynasty legacies. So the Carling is going to have an easier time of getting that,
Yes.
compared to us right now, because we're only gaining one. So it's a resource you want to be careful with, because if I were to disinherit my heir, for instance, whilst that would help me out briefly, it wouldn't really. In the long run, that could harm me, versus just letting my family get some territory.
I like to pretend my second son is in the movie 300, and I send him with 300 guys to Jerusalem. And I'm like, good luck. If you make it back, great.
Yes.
If you don't,
oh well.
It
So
was a
as we disbanded our armies a little far away, it's going to take longer for us to raise them down this time, but that's fine. We're still gathering fairly rapidly, and we have a lot more men than they do. So we're going to pretty decisively crush them.
Excellent.
Although,
I love a decisive crush.
yes, I mean, it's always nice to win. That's one of the things I've learned. After this, though, we're running at a little bit of a deficit with how much we're earning, so I'm probably going to then do some little raiding.
You better make sure my kingdom is safe.
Troy's appearances.
Oh my goodness.
Why are they
This is majestic.
They're so
I'm gonna
creepy.
need you to make sure that my dynasty works out well. Your king commands it.
This is absolutely amazing.
I love Troy role-playing our king right now, and I think it
the
shouldn't
king.
stop for all of the streams forever.
So we can also
That's who I am.
take a concubine. We have a prisoner who we could steal her as a wife, but she's kind of old, so
And
she's
she's a bit
30.
She's a bit crap. She's got 2 0
Yeah, not very
stats.
useful. We could execute her, which will, that will give us a little bit of stress because we are just, but also we'll gain some dread and piety because of our faith. Because the Asatru? I'm not very good at pronouncing it.
For us to get
We have
some
the
dread.
human sacrifice tenants, which means we earn piety for execution
Nice.
instead of costing it. And as also dread is pretty useful for making your vassals be a little bit less.
Do we get to
issues.
choose how to? Oh,
We're
no.
gonna
it's-
burn her at the stake.
All right, fair enough. Fine.
Because we could take some concubines, but I'm hesitant of. We are under our concubine limit, so we're losing prestige from it. So we might
What
take
about
a couple. but-
Vasilisa? She's 16. She's got decent stats in martial and intrigue.
Yeah, she's callous, forgiving, and diligent. So she's also
Callous
pretty good.
and forgiving. What a combo.
Yeah, we don't want to take this delicate one. She's get some health penalties. Oh no, I clicked the wrong one. Vasilisa. Take her as my concubine. And I believe we're still under our limit of how many we should have in theory, so I can take another one. We could take basically our court chaplain.
Chat, who do you think we should marry? There's Riksgårdi, and
Riksgårdi,
she's
Ersa.
20. She's, well, that's a face.
I mean,
very good steward though. Or there's Olga, who has terrible stats
and also got some negative congenital traits.
Great cheekbones.
Not ideal. Great cheekbones, but I also think that because if we take her, we have chances of children, but also we can. She is our Riksgårdi, so she should. In theory, I think because we take her in a nice way as our concubine, she won't hate us because she's not a prisoner, and it's it's more of a loving concubine relationship.
True.
But
Chad says raid for a new one, and I am for it.
That is an option. We can raid for a new one.
And I think we should get to pillaging because we are what? Vikings.
Well,
we want
okay.
what, Matt?
Pillaging, gold, loot.
And concubines.
So right now they're providing such minimal taxes, but once so we can set our marshal to go and increase control over here.
Get him working.
It will take 13 years though. Which is a little while.
Is it faster anywhere else, or is it 13?
The rest of the places we have do have decent control.
What's his stats? Like his martial stats?
His martial is 10, so he's not great.
He's not the best.
We do have a guest we could use our heir instead.
Illimar's way better, but he's a powerful vassal, so he's going to be really
so
angry.
He'll be not particularly pleased if we were to jerk him around and move him. Well, we could swap him. His diplomacy is 7, which is the same as what our heir is, who's currently our chancellor.
I would say swap
So
them.
we can swap those two and they won't be upset. And then if we take a look at increasing control, it's only 10 years instead.
Everyone says Olga, actually, and I think the people have spoken.
Okay, the people have spoken. In that case,
but there's 2 slots, so we can take Olga. We can take Olga, and we can
go raiding for
kidnap someone. Someone in chat said kidnap them after everyone suggested we go raiding, and I really like the idea that wasn't the only option if we went raiding. Like, we'd just roll up and we'd be
we're not
like,
able to raid because we're at war.
Check my boat out. You wanna get on and sail away?
Sail away. That's fine. Well, I'm going to point general because anyone good at raiding?
We want
or at sieging even. Not particularly, so I'll just go with me because I am. We have a lot of martial. Ooh, that's
try not to die.
Where did you come from? I might regret lowering those levies, but I think we'll maybe finish sieging before they get to us.
Guys, we married Olga, don't worry. Well, we concubined her.
Okay, there we go.
We third-wifed her.
They saw my big stack getting raised and realized that they should leave, which is good, because then we can finish our siege in time.
Yes. I like how they saw you over there and they were like, nah.
They were like, yeah, no, let's not do this.
It's gonna be a no from me.
Gonna be a note from me on this one. We are being raided over here, though, which is not great. We can... I'm going to keep this stack here just because I don't particularly want to deal with them coming back until I've enforced my demands.
When other pagans have the audacity to raid me as a pagan, I'm always
it is. I always find it just a bit disrespectful.
First of all, how dare you?
Like, how very dare you? This is unacceptable. So
go raid Christians.
We're getting a bit above our vassal limit now, so what we could do is we can grant these titles out to some people with this handy little grant to button. I'm only pointing that out because I made it.
This is going to be a really interesting balancing game because we want to expand really aggressively, but then we have to do a lot of admin to make sure that we keep the kingdom pretty consolidated so everyone won't hate us and murder us to death.
So this guy is arbitrary, stubborn, and diligent. Not the best vassal for us, maybe.
Is there anyone content?
Yeah, we have generous, arrogant, cautious leader, but they're all a little old. So we could look for people like this.
Someone who loves us unconditionally for no reason.
Someone else. He is content, paranoid, and diligent. So that's not too bad. So we could grant it to him, I think.
Yeah.
And then we can click it here. There we go. Grant title, and he should like us quite a lot because of this. He is a powerful vassal, so he's not going to be super pleased that he's not on the council, but also...
He's still plus 48, though.
Yes, exactly, and, we also have other powerful vassals on the council. So what we can do with him, at least, is, whilst we have the ability, we can sway him, because we currently aren't using any of our personal schemes, or our hostile schemes for that matter. So we can sway him and try and make him like us a little bit more.
And I love a good scheme. someone in chat asks, how wild are the events for this? And I would say fairly wild.
There are some pretty wild events, I will say.
I don't want to spoil any, so I don't want to like.
Yeah, I don't wanna give the game away, but there are definitely some quite wild events that exist in CK.
I think the new like stress feature or system is so interesting, and because if you max out your stress, you know, when you do things that are against your nature, you'll get stressed, as one does.
Yeah, right now we're a little stressed.
When you when you reach a peak level of stress, you'll get options to deal with that stress, such as, you know, start visiting the brothels, as one does.
Yeah, I mean, we could take her as a concubine.
Not the greatest.
She's got kind of crap stats.
Stats
so
of all time, but
not the best.
She's a forced
She's a
wife.
fighter, but yeah. I mean, we could also just, you know, ransom her. We would only gain a weak hook, or we could just, torture or execute her, you know, as you do.
How much? Oh, we only get a weak hook for the ransom.
Yeah, because she's kind of poor.
But executing gets us piety.
Executing does get us piety. We'll gain a bit more. We'll gain some dread and also a bit more stress.
What does chat think? Chat, should we execute her? Should we ransom her and be kind, or should we concubine her?
Well, we might not want to actually kill her, because I just noticed she is actually related to us.
I think we need some more intrigue.
She's
in
the like.
little more intrigue, Matthew.
She's Minsk is one of our allies, I believe, from our son's wife. So
More plots.
not ideal
More
to execute
schemes.
her, right?
Matthew, please.
No, let's not murder.
More-
Let's not murder
more
our
murder.
like sister-in-law.
Intrigue.
Or
I don't know. There's a lot of votes for murder and
oh,
intrigue.
I mean,
Murder.
concubine. I don't think they'll be too happy about
Someone
that
says
either.
torture and then concubine, and I wonder if that's. But no, it sets her free, right?
If we torture her, then I don't believe so. But also, her family will hate us by 30 opinion for 20 years and get a crime to imprison us. Again, not what we really want for our allies. So I think I'm just going to be nice and release her this time. I can get a weak hook from her, or we could even recruit her to our
Isn't
corpse
Matt
or demand
no
conversion.
fun, chat?
Sorry for wanting to play the game and not get totally screwed. But on the plus side, we could try and spread our faith a little bit. We could gain a weak hook on her as well, which we could use for some mild blackmail every now and then.
Yeah. Might
See
as
if
well.
she accepts that.
Chat suggests that there's no negative family opinion if you kill the family too.
Ah, okay.
And I think that's some big brain.
I mean, that is
thinking.
some galaxy brain thinking right there, to be honest. Like, I can't argue with that.
Someone says conversion, yay. Did we convert a county?
The king commands more intrigue.
No,
alright?
we could demand her to
The king
change
is
to
going
our
to need
religion.
some more intrigue, guys. The counselor was right.
The king demands it,
Yeah.
Matt.
I mean, there's
Get intriguing.
we could plot against people, but we don't really have anyone we're in desperate need of plotting against.
But plot for the fun of it.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the
who would you
point.
like? We can look through our realm and vassals.
Where's your sense of adventure?
You know, who do you want to murder?
I mean, everyone, obviously.
Yeah, I would say anyone who doesn't like us is personally who I like to murder.
Well, we can look at the duchy titles. We could murder.
and also in Crusader
So
Kings.
our chancellor here holds this land, which is part of our de jure duchy here. So we could kill him and try and steal his land. He does have an heir, but we could murder the kid first. 5% success chance, not ideal.
But you never know until you start the
Ooh, there we
murder.
go. 95% success
Oh, wow,
chance
that
of
is
killing this guy, though.
Really good success
So
chance.
we could give this a little go.
But I will say one thing. Even if you get like a 5 or a really low percent murder, you don't know till you start it what the invitees could change. Sometimes they can bring like 90%.
They can. But also, well, it tells you in the tooltip, so you do know. But, you know.
Oh,
the other ones we can bribe.
The bribable ones, yeah.
Well, we already have 95% success chance.
No,
so
not for
we don't
him,
really need
but
to bribe.
I'm
Although we
s-
did also gain critical stress from this decision, I'd like to point out, because of the fact that we are a just, honourable man who you just made start a plot to murder his loyal vassal.
Honorable, schmalnerable. That's what got Ned Stark killed.
That is true. I mean,
Okay.
there is limits to honour, but also
And the limit is not murdering our friend just for no reason.
yes.
That's a line we will not cross.
Yes, so we are gonna go
Did you
in for the
question
kill.
my honor? I heard you questioning my honor.
Did you
I'm-
question the king's honor? Matt?
Nah, I would never do that. That would be
That sounded like questioning to me,
just
sir.
mean.
I am a just man.
Yes,
Don't make
those are the exact
yourself
words I would
regret
use.
this.
Oh well, our scheme has been discovered. Our involvement is not known, but the involvement of one of our...
So this can be very hard to recover from. However, we should check who we can bribe first, because sometimes, if you haven't already bribed everyone, there's someone who could recover things.
The scheme has been exposed and its existence is known to the target. So yeah, that's not great.
Check the invite list if there's anyone who could recover it. Otherwise, we have to cancel. Cancel the whole thing.
I mean, we could be able to convince...
Throw the whole murder out.
She's got good scheme power and good success chance. We could bribe her.
But even with those two, we'll still only get a bit over 50, I think.
Yeah, so maybe it's not worth keeping it then, because as you say, it's been exposed and our secrecy is pretty low now, 48%. Yeah. The success chance is even lower.
It's hard to recover from exposure.
Yeah, we should stop exposing ourselves in these schemes. So I'm gonna cancel that and hide it away. We can plot to kill him another day, you know.
Yeah.
Ah, and we have finished one of our lootings.
Wait, can we read it?
Yeah. So the settlement of Kokonoi, an important stronghold in Greater Kokonoi, has fallen to my raiders. We have the run of vast tracts of land and many of the quivering subjects and shining treasures of Chieftain Hain to choose from. The troops stand ready, awaiting my command to give them direction.
Bounteous plunder.
Bounteous plunder, or we've taken enough already. I think we all know that it's going to be bounteous plunder. We just need a little bit more gold, you know?
It's my favorite kind of plunder.
I'm going to return our troops back to the
Jet says both you are bad people and lamest murder ever.
Look, all right, I vote that we invade Kokomo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kokonoi.
I mean, we can. They're a little bit big to take in just one war, unfortunately.
Can we go for the kingdom, or...?
We could go for the duchy, but we don't have a high enough prestige level to be able to do that
yes,
easily.
Invading Kokomo pleases the king. The king is pleased with invading Kokomo.
The king has spoken.
Well, we might take a look at invading Kokomo soon then.
I love
we're
how
going to do a
quickly-
little bit more minor expansions first.
I love how quickly I just decided that whatever Troy says goes because he put a king.
He put a king thing on, you know, that's all that matters, really.
I mean, when I put the crown on, I assume you have to listen to everything I say.
I mean, you've known me long enough to know that I'm not going to listen to the things you say, Stacy.
But what if the thing I say is murder everyone?
I mean, when you put it like that. So also I'm going to use some of the gold we've raided to build some new buildings in our capital. Just to do things like knight effectiveness, so I'm going to build some war camps, because having better knights and more of them is very useful, and I'm a big fan. And then what we can do as well in some of our other territory is we could build a gathering hall, which doesn't do as much directly, but it like for the county, but it gives us in our realm plus 0.2 prestige a month, and prestige is pretty important for tribes.
Plus, we can gather there. And that's nice.
We can gather there, and it's in a hall. Prestige being especially important for tribes because that's actually how you create your men-at-arms regiments, and that's what is the maintenance costs for them when they're raised.
Troy is back.
The king is right. We should invade Kokomo. I am here to tell you that the king is just and wise, and
I mean, we'll look at invading Kokomo when we can, but as
the spy master has spoken.
As I said, we actually can't do it to take the whole duchy.
Well, nobody said anything about duchies.
Well, we also can't take just the county of Kokomo either, because it doesn't border us. So we'd have to do one at a time, or we can wait until we have a higher prestige, because we're pretty close towards leveling up our next level of fame, which will then allow us to do that.
All right, let's prestige it up. You know what we should do for prestige? Go on a hunt.
I mean, that is a good point. We can call a hunt and have a good opportunity. And because we're brave, we're going to lose some of that huge amounts of stress we built up over time.
I was feeling very stressed.
So we're on the hunt with there's some foragers. The woods truly is the mantle of the poor. But as the boar flees in panic from foraging peasants, I feel my patience wearing thin. Surely there must be better things to do in Viangi than picking roots and mushrooms. We can ask our guards to drive the rabble out of my hunting grounds.
Ooh, I do love to drive rabble
We gain
out.
prestige, but we also lose even more popular opinion in Viangi, which is up in here.
We're not so popular.
And the popular opinion is only +5. So minus 30 would be minus 25. Not great. Not great at all. Or we can make a generous donation of 15 gold to tell the peasants to fuck off.
Here you go, peasants.
And we get some piety for that, and we also get development growth, which is pretty useful because having high development just increases the overall wealth of the area you are.
Let's do the
levies,
second
taxes,
one.
and supply limit.
Let's do the second one, but on one condition, is that we throw the money all over the floor and
Yeah,
the peasants
of course.
have to pick it up.
We're not passing them. We're a king. We're not giving it to them. We're just throwing it at them. Here you go, peasants. Enjoy.
Someone in chat says, who cares about the rabble's opinion? And I am inclined to agree with you, but you know, Matt, he always wants to be Mr. Popular.
Me when... I care about the rabble opinion right about when this like meter comes up to about here. That's when I start really caring about the rabble opinion. Hunt returning from the wild. The hunt is drawing to an end. We mount our horses to leave the Tarja behind as the servants prepare the boar and other game for the journey back. To heed the call of the wild is usually an adventure, and this truly... well, I think I had a stroke. And this outing truly delivered both the good and the bad in overabundance. Let us leave this adventure behind for now. We gain some prestige, and my hunt ends.
Nice.
We could also host a feast to try and help our vassals like us a bit more, because they don't dislike us hugely, but they're not our biggest fans.
Also, we always like a party. And
that is true.
You can learn secrets at a feast, so it can be very helpful.
Yes, there's lots of fun events that can happen at feasts. So we hold a feast in Novgorod, and because we're gregarious, we're also going to lose stress. So we're managing our stress pretty well. That's one of the things I really like about the stress system in CK3 is it encourages you to both roleplay your traits, but also you can go against it because it's a manageable resource, like just like in real life, you know.
What's this I hear about a feast?
We're having a cheery gathering.
Excellent.
The guests are gathered in the Great Hall, lords and ladies
invited.
from near and far reaches of the realm. The mood is bright, and spirits are high as the feast begins.
This pleases me.
And only one person declined our feast invite. So you are...
How dare he?
How dare you?
Off
Why do you
with their
dislike
head.
us?
Murder!
Off with their head!
We hold your dessert duchy, and we haven't really tried to sway you. I mean, we could try and sway him, or we could try and kill him.
Murder this man.
Murder for sure.
5% success chance.
Just
we're not going to
check
murder
who we
him.
can invite.
There's not really any, but there's 0 potential agents predicted to join us. And if we start it, we get that 44 stress because we are just and an honourable ruler, Stacy.
Being just is the worst.
So instead, because we're gregarious, we're going to try and sway him to like us, which is much more likely to succeed.
Oh, fine, I guess.
Fine. Me and George just murder. And Matt, we have the crowns on.
I mean, you do.
This does not please the king. This does not
what is our
please
son
the
doing
king at all.
What right does Helgi think he has to claim that my ideas of warfare are misguided?
Whoa.
Claiming that my ideas would break down the moment combat is met? What does he know, really? I
looks
would
so
love a
mad.
chance to settle this on the battlefield. You gain discussions of strategy for 5 years, +2 martial. At least Helgi showed that you were able to defend our understanding of the martial lifestyle. But our son does get a little salty with us. But he also really likes us already because, well, we're his father, and he's also our heir to everything, and we're voting for him in the election. On the plus side, our glory is now widely known. Our level of fame is increased to distinguished. We get more knights, and the secular opinion, which is the opinion of all characters that aren't the clergy, goes up a little bit more.
Nice.
So that is pretty good.
There was a question from the chats before, which was about kind of what happens if you go over your domain limits and...
So we are over our domain limit right
Exactly.
now. It means we are taking hits, domain levies and taxes, and a little bit of vassal opinion. But whilst we're actually at peace, because we're not fighting, I can switch my wife to be, if I just have her assisting our rulers. Will the 3 stewards push us up over the limit? I don't think so, but we could try managing the domain. Does that give it to us?
No.
You can see if it does it on the next day.
Yes!
There we go. So that means that we're going to take less of hits. Although, on the grounds that I just spent a bunch of our money on feasting and the joys of hunting,
was an investment.
we're kind of running low on money now. But that's fine, because we can do the traditional money-making tactic of Vikings, which
This
is
is like what I have
raiding
to
the
say.
ever-loving crap out of people.
Like, this is what I have to say at the end of every month, where I'm like, sorry guys, I spent all my money on feasting, and now it's gonna be a struggle.
They only have like 15 or so gold in some of the places. We can split our army
15 better than
We can
0.
disband this little guy, and we can make another rally point.
Someone says, you
Up in
spent
here.
all your cash on wine. Best empire ever. And I agree.
And then raise our troops up here instead. So we can have this army going off and raiding these guys. But I mean, yeah, wine is an important investment. Like, I know it's one of your favorites. It's also one of mine.
For the happiness of the people.
Exactly, and as our guests depart, our feast finally ends. With everyone headed to their respective homes, I'm proud to say the feast was a success. I have my wife Ingrid to thank for much of its success, and I feel nothing but gratitude as she sees the last few guests off. We gain 150 opinion, or 150 prestige even, and every guest gains 20 opinion of us for our wonderful feast, and our feast ends. We should also appoint a commander for our second army.
Let me just be the first to say, excellent job, Ingrid.
Well done, Ingrid. We are proud of you, and thanks for also keeping us above our domain limit.
Yeah.
Spouses and being able to focus them when you need is very useful.
Yes, I love the new spouse mechanics, actually. As your, like, 6th counselor. I think
if
it works
you're
great.
interested in trying to find some intrigue, what we could do is we could have our spy master try and find some secrets in the capital. I'm not sure he'll find any, or, you know, they might be his own and he doesn't want to tell us. But we could give it a go, and it doesn't take too long. It'll only take 9 months, so we can see if anybody at our court is hiding things from us.
I like secrets.
I just saw a question in the chat about how is it possible to convert to different cultures. You can. Right now we're leading an army, so we can't, but there's a decision to convert to the local culture of your capital. So we would be able to adopt Russian, and all of our close family members would do so the same, as with our spouse. I believe there's also, I think it might be... Oh, well, she's of our culture already, but our concubines probably aren't. You can adopt the faith of your concubines. I don't think you can adopt their culture, though.
So if we get a Christian concubine or a Muslim concubine, we can just hop on...
Yes, I do believe that the cost is changes based on how different the faith is, for example. But because you can convert to any religion if you go to the faith view, so we can show all faiths. So we could try and convert to the Catholicism, but it would cost us quite a lot of piety because it's the undiscounted cost is very high because
missing 1800
because we're converting not just to a different religious a different religion from our faith, a different religious family. That discount is nullified a bit because we're unreformed. But yes, converting faith like this directly is definitely a challenge. But thankfully, a lot of our vassals would convert with us because they both like us. They're somewhat terrified of us, but due to our dread because of the executions. And if we had a higher learning skill, we'd also be able to convince them even more.
I'm hearing go steal a Christian woman, but...
Well, then we wouldn't be able to go raiding, Stacy. Then we wouldn't be Norse Vikings in Russia. We'd just be... Christians in Russia.
I do love having lots of concubines too.
I mean, yeah, exactly. We'd lose our concubines.
Imagine the poor concubine who changes our faith and then she's immediately
and then instantly dumped as well. That would be brutal.
It's like, sorry, babe, I'm a Christian now.
Sorry.
Showing me Jesus, but it's over.
Thanks for showing me Jesus, but Jesus and I have a deeper relationship than you and I did. I'm sorry. I found Jesus and now I can't love you.